Okay, everybody. Next flight in the point-to-point series, going from Amarillo to Andrews, Texas, Andrews County
Oscar
Airport.
535 is going to maintain 3,000.
I built scenery for that today, so we've got someplace to fly to, and nothing to really worry about from an airspace perspective. We'll be up above, and to the side. We'll be to the side of Lubbock, Charlie. We'll be in the PilotEdge covered area for a little while, and then we'll drop PilotEdge, and we'll be just flying without air traffic control until we get into Andrews. Xavier, good to see you. Same Captain Mike, good afternoon. Rondi from Brazil, good to see you. Xavier, glad you're here. Jay Kane, thanks for tuning in. We are going to continue our flight in the Mooney today. We're flying to Andrews Airport, Andrews County in Texas. From Amarillo. We're going to fly GPS today. We did just VFR navigation last time. And we'll have PilotEdge for a little bit, and then we'll drop out of their coverage area, and we'll fly the rest of the way just without any air traffic control. Already got fired up here.
Right, heading 0.
We'll go ahead and do our run up here before we call for clearance.
Number 600 Tango, descend to maintain 8,000.
RPM set for maximum power. Our mixture set for maximum
Alaska
power.
535 airport's off your right side. It'll be 2 to 3 o'clock, 1-2 miles. Report when you have it in sight.
Like it's about right about there. Cycle our prop. Everything else is in the green. And we're already on, ready to go to clearance. 121.65, we're already on it. What's the clearance? Have I been flying lately? No, the Archer has been in the shop. I haven't flown. I was supposed to fly a night flight on Monday night. And I had 2 cross-country times booked today, or this week, both of which I had to cancel, and I was supposed to be flying tonight. But it went in for its 100th hour, and it hasn't come out yet, which makes me a little anxious that I was flying it.
Alaska 535, turn right, heading 050, descend to maintain 2,500.
Get the clearance from Marcus. Wait for that readback.
Number 600 Tango, turn right, heading 170.
Turn right.
Alaska 535, right turn now, heading 070, descend to maintain 2,500. Alaska 535, approach.
Busy today. Yeah, well, I hope they are. I think it's something with the flaps. I said to Buffy at the shop, if they both go down and stay stuck down, we're okay. If they both go up and stay stuck up, we're okay. But if one of them goes down and one of them stays up, we've got a problem. Emerald clearance, Mooney, November 15 Julia Golf with Lima, south departure.
Alaska 535, sorry, I tried reaching you about 4 times now. Cleared visual approach, runway 10 right.
What's the clearance?
Mooney 15 Julia Golf, Emerald clearance, I'm sorry, your request was stepped on.
We have Lima and south departure.
Mooney 15 Juliet Golf Roger, and be runway 4, taxi via Papa.
I wonder why he didn't give me a 4 via Papa. Should we expect a departure frequency or a squawk?
Yep, I'll have that for you in just 1 second. I got another call coming, so I was just giving you taxi instruction. I'll have that for you before I get to the end of the runway.
Affirm, thanks. Okay.
Calling Oakland again.
So we're good to go to 4 Papa then. We'll stay on this frequency.
That was 1534 Oakland Center. Thank you. Descend via sir for 3 arrival San Francisco, altimeter 3024.
I guess we can go over to ground. I don't know why I left the plates. 121.9.
And Mooney 15, Juliet Golf, the Amarillo departure frequency 119.5, squawk 4171.
All right, 119.5, squawk 4171, November 15, Juliet Golf.
Alaska 535, contact Portland Tower 123.77. Number 426 Tango, roger, turn right, heading 310 to join final. Cleared visual approach, runway 35
Okay.
left.
We should be okay. We're all out of copy. Vinyl Rabbit, good to see you. I was on PE yesterday for a little bit. We flew out of the
Portland Tower, Alaska 535.
started out of the coverage area and then came into the coverage area.
Right.
Alaska 535, Portland
Okay,
Tower, wind
121.9.
360 at 4, runway 10 right, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 10 right, Alaska 535.
121.9, and he said that we go to, oops. He said we're going to go to 4 via Papa. Okay. Runway 4 via Papa. Okay, we've got a bit of a taxi ahead of us. Let's get going. Strip road beacons are on. That's good. We don't need any of that. Let's make sure everything else is good to go. Everything looks like it. Elevator trim on. Our flight director is off. We won't make that mistake again. See if our real trim is working. It is. Okay. Easy home cockpit. Good to see you. Yeah, Saratoga is fun. Okay. This is the newest beta, RC4.
Number 600 Tango, contact Denver Tower now 133.3, we'll see ya.
Juddeриer than the other one was. Let me see if I can help that at all. All right. We're on ground. We might as well get ready to go to tower.
Denver Tower, good afternoon.
118.3.
Kevin Duke, 426 Tango. Visual on the flight runway 35 left.
Okay, and I don't want top chat. I want real time
Number 426 Tango, Denver Tower, runway 35 left, cleared to land, wind 300 at 9er.
Clear land, runway 35
There we go.
left. Duke 69 Tango.
All right. It's hot. Amarillo is hot. Then we'll turn on our noise canceling when we get a little closer.
Southwest 1534, contact Oakland Center 128.7.
Via Papa. Okay. Did you get your flight in with Michelle, Mike?
Alaska 535 left to Bravo 5, all the way down to Tango into the ramp, stay on my frequency.
Air 5, Tango to ramp, Alaska 535, thank you.
Yeah, we've got some stutters going on. This latest candidate. Little ones. I am liking the Mooney.
Southwest 1534, Oakland Center out to San Francisco, altimeter 3024.
It's a good way for me to practice kind of learning procedures in a complex aircraft and a high performance aircraft at the same time. Okay, our desired track out of here is going to be 187. Sorry, I just got a text on my phone I had to look at. Sorry about that. Were we? Not what we would do in the real. Of course, driving the airplane in the real world is a fair bit easier than it is driving it in X-plane for whatever reason. 187. Pretty nice little airport here that they've designed in Amarillo. It's default. Top speed in the Mooney, and does it have a real yoke movement in VR? I don't know. I think it has real yoke movement in VR. And top speed, I average cruise around 145, but I'm at lower altitude. If you get up 10, 12,000 feet towards the surface ceiling, you go faster. And I also run it at 75% efficiency for fuel flow, so it can go faster than that. It can go 170, but I rarely have it up at that speed. Whoop. Sometimes I hope Marcus is watching me swerve all over the map, but I know he's not. He's paying attention to all these other people he's got in the air. Of course, I should have elevator pressure here. We should be driving away from the tailwind, and it makes it easier to steer the airplane when you do. So they have that modeled correctly. Yeah, whoever designed this did a good job. I should have asked for a midfield takeoff. Yeah, so Andrews County is the airport that I designed. We're flying to. I designed it today while I was on conference calls all morning. Not a bad way to listen to one thing and do another. But there was no scenery there.
Number 721 kilojoule, a little bit light on the volume with south.
Half of the way of where I want to go for our final destination on this leg. And then I figured out the next route. We're going to fly all the way up to the far northwest corner of Washington State. That's going to be about 1,600 miles, which at the rate I'm making these is going to be about 10 flights. And we'll see some cool
Mr. Center Tango, Mike into the ramp, stay on my frequency, g'day.
Mike to the GA ramp, this frequency. Thanks for the ATC. Duke 6.
Well, this gives us plenty of time to brief everybody. You know how to get out. Keep your feet on the floor. Don't grab the yoke. If the motor stops, don't grab the yoke. If your seat goes backwards, don't grab the yoke. Basically, whatever you do, don't grab the yoke. You have the door. I'll have you unlock it if there's a problem. Fire extinguisher is... Looks like we don't have one. No screaming.
721 Kilo Juliet's cleared to Eugene Airport as filed, except after the Corvallis VOR.
PA-28 is, yeah, good.
481 to the Eugene VOR, then
yeah, the Saratoga is good. I like the Saratoga.
7,000,
and the turbo arrow.
250, 10 minutes.
Those are all good airplanes. 28
departure frequency
arrow,
with Seattle 120.4, squawk 1401, hold for release.
I think we're almost there. I feel like we started taxiing 6 weeks ago.
Number 721 Kilo Juliet, volume was better, but now it sounded like you were playing with the microphone, so I kept hearing you fiddling with something. Read back correct. Advise
like
on the frequency and ensure the runway number 1 for departure.
ILS hold. I don't think we have to worry about that today.
Roger, thanks. Southwest 1534, contact NorCal approach 121.3.
Okay, let's get switched over to tower. Let's get our departure frequency logged in. It was 119.119.25, I believe. Hope that's right. Might be on our plate also. 119.5. Yeah, because I wrote on that by mistake.
For NorCal approach, 119.5. Altimeter 3024, expect ILS runway 28 left approach from Eddie.
We're on tower frequency. We're good to go. Power set, window closed.
Plus 1534, just confirm
locks.
runway 28 left, approach from Eddie.
Noise cancellation's on. Nav lights, strobes, landing lights for visibility. Doors are locked and shut. Comanche is a beautiful airplane. It's true. All right. Amarillo Tower, November 15 Julie Golf, holding short 4 at Papa, ready for takeoff.
15 Julie Golf, Amarillo Tower, good afternoon. Wind 010 at 14, gust 18, left downwind departure approved. Runway 4, cleared for takeoff.
Left downwind departure approved, clear for takeoff, runway 4, November 15 Julie Golf. Okay. Let's go. Nobody coming. Controls are working. Let's just double check our altitude here real quick. It should be 3649. Okay, full power. Okay, RPMs are good. Engine instruments are green. Whoa. That ground handling, the crosswind is redonkulous. Rotation. There we go. We usually go off with a notch of flaps. I didn't follow the checklist, so we didn't. Keep our gear with us until we get past the end of the runway. Jed, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, you made it for the takeoff. Hour flight to Andrews, Texas, coming up. I just heard the doors open, so the kids are home, so that means we may get bandwidth problems here, depending on how much YouTube and streaming and video game playing goes on here. Gear up. 500 feet. Get past the end of the runway here, and we'll make our turn. You can see where it carved out higher res tile. I burn a higher res tile at, that looks cool, around the airports. I go to zoom level 18. And there's a crosswind leg. Still going up. Fly our left downwind and get out of here.
15 Juliet Golf, contact Amarillo departure. We'll see you.
Going to departure, 15 Juliet Golf. Amarillo departure, November 15 Juliet Golf, 5,500 climbing.
Mooney 15 Juliet Golf, Amarillo departure. Afternoon radar contact, altimeter 3028. Resume navigation, maintain VFR at appropriate VFR altitudes.
3028. Resume on nav, maintain VFR 15 Juliet Golf. Okay. We can do what we want. Woohoo! We'll get past the airport and then we will make our flight. Now we have that tailwind of 14 knots. That's going to help us get out of here faster. Just checking something on the PC real quick. Okay. Amarillo Airport going off to our side. We're still climbing. We're going to go down to 6,500 feet, so we're not going to be climbing for long. out here. Get ourselves trimmed. The city of Amarillo off to our side there. We can make our turn on course. Give you a view of Amarillo here in a second. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Again, that's the World to XP Americas package of mesh, which I find maps buildings a lot more accurately. Okay. Now let's take us back to about 18.9 the manifold pressure.
So what's 1530?
Able to be a little higher. Let's see.
135.65.
We can go all the way up to 24 pressure altitude is where we think it is. All right. Still doing pretty good there, especially with our tailwind. Okay, now let's take us back to 2400 RPM. There we go. Now let's lean us so we're 50 degrees rich.
That was 1534 NorCal approach afternoon. San Francisco altimeter 3024 after Eddie cleared ILS. Runway 28 left approach.
1630. 1650, okay.
Mooney 5 Juliet Golf, you looking for advisories beyond the Charlie?
Such a short hop to the service territory, no, but thank you.
Roger.
We're only in the PilotEdge service territory for a little bit. Okay. We've got our performance dialed in. Let's get back up to our cruise altitude. Let's see what we've got going on in the chat. The Comanche says, is this the aircraft that Kennedy crashed at Martha's Vineyard? No, he crashed in a Piper Saratoga, I'm sorry to say. It's a competitive airplane to this one. But bigger, seat 6. 4 seats in the back that face each other. Okay, well that is River Falls down there. That looks good. Some terrain out here in the middle of West Texas. Same problem we had last time, getting the Mooney to settle down on its altitude. Let's see what it does. I don't know. I gotta tell you, Just Flight Arrow, I think, is in PilotEdge, or the Just Flight Arrow in X-Plane, I think, is every bit as good as the A2A. There are a bunch of study level aircraft coming out now, and a new Mooney just came out, which I haven't gotten to try yet, which is also a study level aircraft. And with Orbix, I mean, no offense, but look out the window. Photorealistic scenery didn't cost me a dime. Power lines exactly where they're supposed to be. If you watched the flight the other day, there's a bunch of wind farms in this part of West Texas. The wind rotating towers were exactly where they're supposed to be. You could see them sitting in the center of their pads on the orthographic scenery. I find that with the World to XP America's Mesh, which was free, and the ortho scenery, which is free, I find that for VFR flight, I like it better than Orbix. And I was a P3D fanboy, man. I loved it. Yeah, the Piper is a very realistic aircraft. And the fact of the matter is the default Cessna.
15 Julie Golf, leaving minor space now. Radar services are terminated. Squawk and maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. We'll see you soon.
Going to VFR, frequency change approved. Thanks for your help. Have a good weekend. The default Cessna is great now, and with the reality expansion packs you can get for the Baron, you can get for the Cessna, you can get for several Bonanzas, you can get it for the default Baron and the default Cessna. The reality expansion packs do everything that A2A does. There's also a study level Cessna that's sold separately by another maker, which is supposed to be excellent. So I don't find that I miss that stuff very much anymore. And now the study level tube liners are really starting to come on for X-Plane. I think with the death of Dovetail, it's going to be a two-person shootout, and one of them is coming on strong. Little strip down there. That's I don't know what that is. Not on the charts. Nope. The way it works, Vinyl, is that you have a scenery configuration file, which is just a text file. You can edit it however you want.
Departure, roger, release for departure now.
And it
by 2010 Zulu, time now 1957.5.
That's I-7.
By 21100. Departure intentions on this frequency no later than 2115. Correction, 2015. Frequency change is approved. We'll talk to you later.
The scenery file you can edit individually. It also has, there's utilities that edit them. I use utilities to edit mine. And it,
Southwest 1534, contact San Francisco Tower.
whatever's on top of the list overrides whatever's below it. So when you use ortho, it puts the orthographic scenery layers on top of, it outranks the default. And so there's no conflict at all. It just uses the ortho. And if you fly then, if I fly out of an area where I have an ortho tile, it automatically goes to orthograph. It automatically goes to the default textures. So it that works really quite well and seamlessly. Well, yeah, the amount of money you have invested, that's a great point. One thing to think about, though, is if you
Southwest 1530 for San Francisco
took your
Tower,
economics class,
280 at 16.
and unfortunately for you guys, I have a minor in economics. If you take your economics class, there's something that's called the sunk cost fallacy, which is when you continue to invest in something simply because the investment you've made in it. Just like I did with P3D, like you'll do when you buy tickets to go to a game and the team's getting blown out but you stay because you paid, when really that money is spent, so it's an irrational decision. The real question to make in that kind of condition is, what would you do if something were free? Meaning, if it wouldn't cost you anything to leave and go home from the game, would you leave and go home from the game? And the answer is yes. So you can get into X-Plane for really just the price of the package. You know, 60 bucks. I've bought very little to no payware scenery. In fact, I don't think I've bought any payware scenery. I bought the Salt Lake City Airport because it's excellent. And I've bought some aircraft. But even then, it comes with a default Baron, it comes with a default Stinson, it comes with a default Columbia, it comes with a default 737. There's a free add-on for that from Zibo, which is supposed to be excellent. It comes with a default F-14. There's a bunch of free aircraft. Some are excellent, some not so much. I bought a whole slew of Pipers that are very good. They fly right on the numbers for like 15 bucks. This Mooney was 40 bucks. So if you want to buy a good plane, the prices are just the same they are for P3D. But the bottom line is that the money's spent, you know, so it's not like you're getting any more return on your investment the longer you keep using it. So it's just something to think about.
Report status from now.
There's definitely a learning curve. It feels different in terms of, you know, unthinking a lot of the stuff that you had to think about with prepared. one of the things I found though is that it's a lot easier. Like I booted prepared up a few times after moving to X-Plane, and the first time I went to X-Plane, I felt like I had put on a bad fitting pair of shoes. You know, it was just not working for me. But what I've found is that it's just want to make sure we stay clear of the Charlie airspace there. It's once you get familiar with how it works and how it runs, what I've found is that it is much simpler than prepared, and there were several times when I would boot up prepared after I moved to X-Plane, and I just couldn't take it. Unpredictability, random crashes. I know that the memory issues now are largely fixed, but you know, just how much kludging I had to do to get things to work. And with X-Plane, you boot it up and it goes. It even goes to the directory profile. I mean, with prepared, things are stored all over the hard drive. In X-Plane, everything is in the hard drive. Everything's in one folder. You can move it to another drive and run it immediately. No registry keys, none of that kind of stuff. It's really very easy to use and highly extensible. So I think if you can get a demo and try it out, it's worth a try. And you know, worst comes to worst, if you spend $60 on it and you don't like it. We've spent more than that probably out at dinner one night and had a meal that we didn't like. So something to think about. I had prepared version 3. Yeah, I haven't used version 4. It doesn't look any different to me. I know that you've got the high def lighting, but even then, you know, there's a limited number of objects that they'll illuminate with the HDR. Night lighting in this thing is unbelievable, and especially in VR, it's unbelievable the way light works in X-Plane is crazy. The big downside to X-Plane is the default air traffic control is not very good, which is why I use PilotEdge. And it doesn't really fill the world with aircraft like Prepared does. There's a package called World Traffic 3 that I spent money for, which you tell it your departure and your arrival airports, and it will fill the skies based on real-world schedules with aircraft, not only for those two places, but any airport within a 50-mile radius. So you have aircraft transiting from place to place, and I find that's very realistic. And some people use Pilot 2 ATC, which is an ATC package. I think that's also for Prepared. They like it quite a bit. But if I want real ATC, I subscribe to PilotEdge for that happily. All right, let's make sure we're kind of being loose with our track here, but that's okay. See where we are. We're coming up. Should be able to say Tulia, Texas, out our window. Sort of all over the place here today. There's our power lines.
1534 to the Juliet and Alpha to the ramp this frequency today.
Shift change for our friends at PilotEdge. Marcus is on his weekend. Can't quite see that town out there. It's probably over there. Yeah, you should try the demo. It's worth it. Building closets in a VR. I love VR. I'm driven to make the home cockpit. Do you think I should stop now and say I can't answer that for you?
71 Juliet, Seattle departure.
I love having my own cockpit.
Do you need a new void time?
It's certainly, if you want to fly with any other people, like the home cockpit is awesome. I would say if you want to do real IFR procedural work, you're probably going to want the cockpit for that. All right, we should switch tanks. Boost pump. Fuel flow is positive. Hard to say. I mean, it's a lot easier to go backwards from the VR from the cockpit, so maybe get VR and see how you feel about it, and if you still feel the passion to build the cockpit. I love my cockpit, but I've spent a lot of time in VR now because of how it feels and how it feels like flying. But it would be hard to do IFR in this. Although, you know, I make the iPad here work pretty well. And I don't know if you saw it, but I was even using the scratch pad to write down my clearance information. So that's all feasible. 4 o'clock. Ground speed, 166 knots. Moving along at a pretty good clip. Manifold pressure is good. You can probably even eke out a little more power. I don't mind burning the gas. There we go. Get up to 150. Yeah, Jeremy, PilotEdge I think is the best money I've ever spent in flight simulation. It's really fantastic, and it got me, you know, to go for my real pilot rating. You know, I built the sim thinking, well, then I won't have to go get my private pilot license. But the first couple times I flew on PilotEdge, I remember how nervous I was to key the mic when I was sitting on the ground at, you know, that first airport, and I did it, and I was like, well, if I can do that, you know, maybe I should go take a discovery flight, because it was the idea of the learning curve to be safe that intimidated me about the idea of flying. And we've got 45 minutes to go. Really? All right, that's going to be close to when I got to be doing something in the real world. Maybe eke out a little more power. So, PilotEdge was really instrumental in that for me. Okay, we've got some scattered cumulus coming up here. Looks like we're well below them. We've got some pretty good looking crop circles down there. We've got a little turbulence. All right, easy home. I gotta prove your comment. Give me 1 second. There you go. EGT a little high. Yeah, totally. The POH says to run it at 50 lean of peak, or 50 rich of peak, and it was topping out at about 1560. So now that we've moved on a little bit, we can check and see. Yeah, so it was 1520 now. So yeah, a little high. We should, let's see, 1660. Yeah, so it should be about 1610. That's where the POH says to run it for best power at 75%, which is what I'm doing. So for what that's worth, that blue arc there is where you're supposed to have it in descent. Oh, so I was talking about the weaknesses of X-Plane. So one is air traffic control. PilotEdge fixes that. PilotATC works for guys who use it. I don't. One is air traffic. World traffic fixes that beautifully, I find. I mean, it's really great. I'll sit on the ramp at Tampa, fly out of Tampa in the sim at night, and you can see the aircraft stacked up for arrivals into 1-8. It's really cool. And does GA traffic as well. And then the only other is weather. And the default weather is much better than it used to be. In fact, the volumetric clouds in the default weather, I find, if you're flying overcast in VR, it's crazy realistic. I mean, crazy realistic. And the sense of space and clouds above and to the side of you and below you. I'm not using it today. I'm using XEnviro. I'm still running 1.8. A lot of people are on 1.9 now. I don't like the way it works. It's 80 bucks, 70 bucks. It's an expensive package. It's had its problems. Some people have been very critical of the developers. I think it looks great. I think it's got great sky textures. I think it handles haze really well. I think its clouds look good, and there are free high def or better texture clouds on the xplane.org website that I've used that make it look even better. But one of the things I like about it is I don't really notice the transitions. It's like, oh yeah, there's some little puffy clouds coming up ahead, which is kind of what you think in the real world. And it doesn't do, it's not active sky next by any means, but I find it's quite good. And it doesn't do cloud shadows in VR yet, which is the only thing I find a disappointment. But we're out in the middle of nowhere. Good Lord. It's been like this for 2 days of flying. From Denver on down. Whew. Crazy. But apparently the folks at Active Sky are working to build a weather engine for X-Plane, and if they do, that'll be great. $118 miles. Yeah. How's stream quality, by the way? If somebody could give me an update. Good old Oceana, yeah. When I was sitting on the ground at Oceana, I was shaking. I mean, I was like, this is stupid. You're sitting in your basement. It's a game. No, it's just a game. And I keyed the mic, and and there's just seems like there was so much you had to learn. But what I've found since is that all that learning was very good for me in terms of understanding how aviation really works. PilotEdge infinitely increased my the amount of pleasure I get from simulating flight. Not just because it got me into real-world aviation, but by having to learn airspace and procedures, it made it more of a simulation and less of a game, and that made it cool for me. I mean, I learned how to fly traffic pattern, I learned how taxiing works. I used to listen on United flights to them call and say, clearance, it's, not United 227 with echo, and I never knew why they all were saying with echo. I didn't know what that meant. Now I do. And it was great, but that first flight from Oceana, and for me, I went the first flight was from Oceana to San Luis Obispo, just a 10-minute hop, and I called tower, and I did what I was supposed to do. I mean, I had it written down. I didn't really know what I was supposed to do, and it all went fine. And then I landed, and somebody got stepped on, and I thought I was told to go, so I taxied across into the motion area from the runway, and the controller came back on. I don't remember who it was, and immediately said, what are you doing? 15 Golf, what are you doing? I was like, going to the ramp? He goes, you don't go anywhere till I tell you to go someplace. I was like, man, so close, yet so far. Okay, so power lines down there. If we look at our chart, power lines are right there, right where they're supposed to be. And it looks like we've got a pretty good line of power lines coming down across in front of us. Yep, I can see those, and then there's sand hills coming up here to the west of us that should be in the ortho scenery. You can kind of see him.
Denver clearance, loud and clear.
Slower head moves. Good, Vinyl, I'm glad, thanks. Maybe you're just getting used to feeling sick to your stomach. Let's not get off our path here. Yeah, I'm trying to slow down the head movements to make it better for you guys. Okay. Our winds have changed a little bit. Not quite the tailwind we had before. We're cranking along at 150 knots. 175 ground speed. That's moving at a pretty good pace. Glad the quality is good. I might start streaming in 1080. See how that works. See if it is just as easy for you guys to see. We've got some clouds coming up now. We're catching up to that.
Jet 88 Denver clearance, Roger. It's going to be a 400
set of
clearance.
clouds.
And what is your aircraft type? Jet 88, Roger. Forward clearance cleared to Aspen Airport. Connor Ford
What's the
departure
clearance?
Bulldog. That's Bravo uniform Lima Delta Golf. Direct to Warner. That's Whiskey Echo Romeo November Romeo.
You can get that
Direct to Zacor Zulu Alpha Kilo Oscar Romeo. Direct. Climb via the SID. Accept maintain. Flight level 200. Squawk 7304.
Those look pretty good. You can see some clouds that were in the ortho scenery.
Jet 88, Roger. Just confirm the routing, please. It's Connor Ford departure Bulldog. Direct to Warner. That's Whiskey Echo Romeo November Romeo. Direct to Zacor. Direct.
Typico, good to see you. Higher resolution would be great. I'll try it next time. Yeah, it's a happy little cloud right over here. I think we should try to have a Bob Ross reference in every
Jet 88, read that correct?
single stream. Well, Nuova Man, I mean, it looks superb, but you're also seeing the non-VR output. So it's outputting at 720p, which is what you're seeing. You aren't seeing the same resolution that I see. I've got a screen door effect on mine, although I really don't mind it. Got a little turbulence here. There's that corner of the power lines. Yep, I can see it right there. Everything is looking relatively green. We haven't had a ATIS in a while. Let's get the ATIS from Lubbock, 125.3.
Lubbock Preston Smith INTL information line. 1900 Zulu weather. Wind 050 F10. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 20. Dew point -12. Altimeter 3021. Arriving runway 17 right. Departing runway 08. Advise on initial contact, you have Mike.
Okay. There we go. I think it's loading the next tile because I got a little stutter here.
Jet 88, that's Warner, Whiskey, Echo, Romeo, November, Romeo.
The orthographic scenery sits on an external hard drive that's not a solid state drive. And it takes a little time to pull it in, but it's like a 3 terabyte drive. You know, you can get a 3
Jet
terabyte
88
drive
negative
for
at Whiskey, Echo,
next to nothing.
Romeo, November, Romeo.
Blows my mind. Okay, looks kind of Anton coming up. That's it right there, right where it should
Jet
be.
88, Roger, read that correct.
That looks like a little town. Anton doesn't have an airport. And along the train tracks south of Anton, there's a private strip we're going to be passing right down here someplace. See if we can see it when we go by. Looks like it's a little further down. It should be down there. Can't quite pick it out. Usually a little strip like that is just a turf strip. Okay. Well, I wish the sightseeing was better, but it is sort of the same thing. Now here you can see a difference in the ortho tiles from when they were mapped by the satellites. See that changing color there? So we have some towers or something way down there. I wonder what's down there. Oh, Lubbock. That's what's down there, it's Lubbock. Oh, I think there's our little airport. Yeah, there's the little private strip we were talking about. Looks like it's a little off-center from the ortho, but you get the gist. So you could go in there. Something else that's really easy to do in X-Plane is you can go in and make that airport in World Environment Designer quite easily. You can see how well the mesh maps to the ortho. In fact, a lot of people use a transparent road texture, so the roads get turned off, so they just see cars driving on the ortho, which is actually what I should probably do. It would probably increase the realism a little bit. Okay, Lubbock is out there. We need to go this way a little bit. We're getting a few more little clouds.
Ready 1399 Spokane clearance. Good afternoon. Clear to Seattle Airport, Spokane 3 departure. Vectors Temple, Glacier 1 arrival. Climb via SID. Departure frequency 123.75. Squawk 2063.
Couple gallons here. We're going to switch tanks again.
United 1399, read that correct.
So I had a couple crashes when I booted up the sim today. I wasn't quite sure why. And I updated to the latest beta release candidate, RC4, and it seemed to have fixed the problem. We'll keep our fingers crossed. But you know, I'm always using betas. I like to use betas. You need to use the beta if you want to use VR right now, so there's not much choice that way. It's been pretty solid, so I was a bit surprised when I had those issues. We're getting ready for the hockey game tonight. The Lightning are playing the Bruins in the NHL playoffs. We're big Lightning fans. I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't want to jinx it. In fact, I probably think I've already jinxed it. But anyway, it's kind of a cool thing. Tampa is having a big outdoor watch party at the big park in the middle of Tampa. They're going to have screens set up, food trucks, and a couple thousand people showed up to the last one, so it should be cool. We're going to take the kids and go with some friends to do that tonight. Smyre, a little town of Smyre is coming up. Looks like a railroad crossroads. Yeah. And I don't feel like I'm cheating to use that zoom. It's just because of the screen door effect, the resolution isn't as great as it would be. I can read the GPS there pretty easily. In fact, I can't quite read the airports. I can like that, KBFA, KLL, and KBFE. I can read the VORs and such without any problem. Boy, Nova man, you said it. Sometimes it's a delicate balance, and sometimes it's you just beating your head against the wall. Yeah, world traffic. I know some people have that issue. It's been working for me, but I haven't used it the past week or two because I've been flying on PilotEdge. I almost used it and loaded it up for this flight, but then I realized and remembered we're starting from Amarillo, which is on PilotEdge. So there's the little town. Looks like they've got a high school. There's a little football stadium there. That's probably a high school right there. It looks like almost like a little strip there, doesn't it? But I don't think it is. farm buildings. And a highway going through town. A highway and train tracks. What's the highway? Can't quite tell. And we've got a real airport off to that side also. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. So that is Reese Village. We almost went there, but I decided to press on to Anderson. Well, we've got more than half the flight past us. Why do I think it might be difficult? Depends on how quickly you're trying to get to charts. I've gotten pretty good with using the iPad, and if I had my plates loaded, I mean, you can brief a plate pretty well, but it's just not quite as seamless as, and certainly you can load your approach. I mean, if you're flying GPS,
That's at 88 Denver
you're
ground
loading
position.
the charts, and you're loading the approaches, and you're letting autopilot fly for you.
That's at 88 Roger.
It'd be
Check
pretty
the transponder,
straightforward.
low C, airport surface detection equipment in use.
The key thing is being able to write things down, clearances. The Scrouch pad, I can do that pretty easily with my finger here. Peeking out from under my nose because I can't, it's not a perfect match, but so I could certainly use that as a scratch pad to write clearances. I just think, you know, with some IFR stuff, the workload is already high enough. I think it'd be easy to get behind the airplane, easier to get behind the airplane in VR. I mean, I just got up, I just got up behind the airplane here. I was climbing 1,500 feet a minute. So, but if you could get really good at it, it probably makes you a better IFR pilot. I can guarantee you that visually it'll be a lot more realistic if you're in the clouds with this. Like again, when it's a cloud deck with default scenery, the default weather, it's like a cloud deck. But it's just my sense of being able to manage the plates and the procedures and write things down and move quickly. You couldn't do it without having something teleported in with Oculus Dash like this, that's for sure. But if you had your EFB and you had your charts there and you had a window where you could see your charts, it seems to me you could probably manage it all right. I'll try it. You know, I'll start working through the I ratings in VR and see how it goes.
Northwest 2313, San Francisco clearance, loud and clear.
Yeah, I use checklists religiously in the real airplane. It's just hard for me to use them here. Now I can, there's a feature here which I can use in the EFB. We've got them. So we can do normal descent gear down or gear up. Is our next checklist. Then I can go back. So maybe that's what I'll do here. We'll do that. I'll have that ready to go. But yeah, in the airplane, not only that, but I actually have a checklist that I take in the airplane. I was going to take it in this last flight that I printed off that's even more detailed than the one that's actually in the bird that I fly, just because I want to have a really complete checklist. Good to see you too, Colin. Avatab. Okay, I'll check it out. Do you do it with Oculus Dash, Colin, or does it pull it straight in? That's an idea. Yeah, it's hard to use the iPad with the Rift on. I have it sitting on my knee, placed pretty close to where it is. So I'm going to try to tap on KLLN. Yeah, I can't. I'm close, but I'm not quite right on it. So what is going on with the trim? We were all trimmed. Now it's Carinado aircraft. Sometimes they do wacky things. I'll have to check that out. Windows, window menu, settings, map, ground services, ATC. Look at that. Okay, I will. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. That's what we get for trying something new. Let me see what's going on here. It's waiting for me to pick a checklist. Okay, hold on. Why it's not letting me do this in the window, I don't know. Checklist, combined all. Okay.
Alternate static air off. Free flight.
How about that? Oh, it's good to know that. I didn't even know I had that little window check-in thing. Oh, is that how we turn the replay on? Huh. Alright. Now what do I do? Okay. Looks like there's a lot for me to explore here I didn't even know existed. Looks like things are coming a long way fast. Yeah, that's all very cool. All right, I'm glad to know that. Okay, we're coming up here to Brownfield, Texas, and it's got Terry County Airport on the other side of it from us, which we probably wouldn't make the glide to if we had to because we're so low. We're at 39 pounds, 39 gallons in the other tank, so we'll switch tanks. Don't forget to turn the boost pump on. Luckily, it kept working. That would be a time when a checklist was handy. And we are 20 minutes from being down. This flight feels like it's taken forever. Brownfield, Texas. Quite a few 500-foot towers down here. That looks cool. That looks real. With the trees and the buildings. It's getting warm in my closet, I can tell you that. I have to start cranking up a little fan in here now that summer's coming. Alright, well, we'll play the game we play with my kids. When we're driving, pardon me, when we're driving someplace, we'll zoom out the GPS until we can see our target, and then we'll start zooming in as we get closer. We also have a little work we can do to stay ahead of the airplane. Where's our airport here, by the way? Right there. Okay, so we can get our ATIS dialed in. And we can act like we're monitoring guard, even though we're not, because for some reason you can't turn on COM 2 in this airplane yet. And our ATIS, then Andrews is going to be, AWAS is 118.2. We'll get that ready to go. If any of you guys are on PilotEdge and you want to load into Andrews County, And Joe, I mean, you're welcome to. I didn't upload the scenery to the .org, so you're going to have to go with UD scenery. But I will be coming in soon. That's a little more immersion than I might want, Lionel. Andrews County is 3,100 feet, so we're only going to have to lose 2,400 feet of altitude. So when we're about 10 minutes out, 7 minutes out. So we're getting close. PilotEdge scares you. Scared me too. Then you realize you're learning a whole new world of aviation stuff that you didn't learn before, and doing it on real world quality, and that's a priceless thing. It's worth it. It's a free 2-week trial. Try it out. Try the practice flight. I've been thinking about talking to Keith Smith and saying, you know, Keith, I'm willing to maybe do some newbie flights where maybe we brief on the ground and we kind of talk people through it and then go. They have a coaching service. You know, you can actually get coached. They'll coach on how to use the airspace and the radios and everything. It's pretty cool service. I've seen some people online who've been very, very happy with it. Oh, no. Can't quite see it yet. Not allowed to switch. Okay. So where do we go from here? The next flight is also going to be about this long. We'll go back into the PilotEdge area, but we're basically going to fly to here. We're going to fly down to Hitchcock Rosillos Mountain, which is an asphalt strip at a ranch. And we're going to fly there because, as far as I can tell, it's the furthest southeastern airport down on this part of the PilotEdge service territory. And then from there, we're going to fly in the next course of flights. Uh-oh. My screen mirroring stopped. 1 second. Not the end of the world, but it'd be nice to have it. Sometimes I have to turn off my Wi-Fi on and off again to toggle it. Uh-oh. Oh no, you're kidding me. Didn't it? I think we're still streaming. We are. Well, guys, we just had to crash the desktop. It must have had something to do with the communication to the iPad, because as soon as I turned the Wi-Fi off on the iPad, it crashed. I'm sorry to say that. Sorry to do that to everybody. We're going to presume that we made it to the other airport. We were only about 10 minutes out, and we'll start from there. But there's a bug. I just filed the bug report, and we'll see what happens next. But you're just seeing a black screen because the Oculus whole system crashed. So thanks for watching. Sorry about that, guys. We'll see what we can do to get that fixed. But beta software, it happens. Thanks for sticking with me this long. Thanks for watching.